Hey guys, it's your girl Coach Yana, and we are back like we never left for another episode of Healed and Chilled. And if you're watching this, yes, I am wearing the same outfit because I am feeling very, very inspired. I just finished interviewing John Brink, and I'm feeling very, very, very inspired from that conversation. So I just felt like I had to keep recording. Okay, shout out to everyone, all my brothers and sisters out there who have ADHD like myself and who are dyslexic, because I just found out we're superheroes. And yes, did Rick Riordan in the Percy Jackson series say that being dyslexic and having ADHD is the mark of a hero? Yes, but to hear from a actual human being who's not a fictitious character, even though I love me some Percy Jackson, okay, and Jason and the Cane, all of them. But from after hearing from someone as successful as John, I just feel very, very inspired and just honored to even have dyslexia and be ADHD. So shout out to all of us. And if you do, I definitely highly recommend that you watch that episode or listen to it, whatever way. All right, but today I want to come on here really quick and just do another little mini-sode about why I don't believe that you should raise your child to be obedient. I think that obedience raises the perfect victims. Because if you raise your child to believe that they have to absolutely listen to what an adult says and not to question it, then in my mind, you are setting your child up to be victimized. Now, even without that, it takes away their ability to think critically and to process what's going on, because they just have to do what everyone says. They can become hostile and angry on the inside, resentful. They can start to feel less than, like what they think doesn't matter and that they deserve to be mistreated, because that's what typically happens to people that are raised that they are second class citizens because they have to be obedient. It's one thing to raise your child to be respectful. It's a whole nother situation to raise your child to be obedient. The thing is, there are predators out here who target children who are obedient. They target children who they notice are a little bit more quiet and who will keep their secret. And if there's a weirdo adult out there who wants to take advantage of a child, and you're teaching your child that you have to listen to adults, and what if that weirdo adult says, hey, well, this is our secret. Don't tell anyone. Do you think your child's going to tell you? Because now they're conflicted because there's this thing happening to them that they don't like and they need help. But unfortunately, because you have told them that they need to be obedient and silent, seen and not heard, who do they go to when Mr. or Miss, because women take advantage of children too, when Mr. or Miss gets a little too handsy? Who do they go to? Often also the parents that want super super obedient children also don't really listen to their children, so they kind of dismiss them, so they're already at a deficit where they feel like what they say and think doesn't matter. And then you add that with someone who's a predator, it can turn into a very horrible situation. So I do not believe that children should be obedient. I don't agree with that at all. I also know for a fact that parents, guardians, grandparents, adults in general, coaches, Coach Yana, can be wrong. There have been so many times, even in my own life as an adult, that I've had to apologize to children because I was wrong about something. Primarily my siblings, because I'm the oldest by far. But, there are times where I was dead wrong, or I was misinformed and they were right. And you have to eat it. It's not fun being wrong, especially with your younger siblings. That's a whole other can of worms. But it's okay to apologize and recognize that you're wrong. And so I think that it is important that children have the ability and feel like they can advocate for themselves when they feel that they've been wronged. If they can't practice with you as their guardian how to advocate for themselves, who are they going to practice it with? It doesn't make sense. And then, like, okay, if the way that they're choosing to advocate for themselves is disrespectful, the first thing that I would say is, how do you communicate? Are you respectful in your communications? If you don't like that your child is yelling, do you yell at them? Do you yell at your significant other? So you should analyze how you communicate, set a better example if that's the case, and then hold that standard on your children. A lot of times, guardians will hold their children to a standard that they're not even meeting. Will say, oh, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. But you are walking around doing nothing of what you're telling your child to do. So it's kind of like you're talking out of one ear and talking out of one mouth and doing something totally different. Or as I like to say, talking at the side of your neck. You're not even saying anything for real. You just running your mouth. You know what I'm saying? You're not even, you see, I'm my as my mom would say, my native dialect is coming out. You ain't even doing what you say to tell them to do. You ain't even doing it. You're not doing it your own self, but you want them to do it. You're not even holding your own self to a high standard, but you got such high standards for your child. At least be half the person you want your child to be before you start getting on them. So if you don't like the way that they communicate and advocate for themselves, how about you fix the way you talk to them and fix the way how you talk to other people? Set a better example, and then they'll do it. Period. But on some real stuff, children have to be able to practice advocating for themselves, or else they will never do it. They will never feel comfortable speaking up for themselves. They'll never have a healthy way of doing so. And sometimes that can turn into anger, that can turn into resentment, that can turn into suppressed feelings. And then they snap. You see how many episodes of Snapped are specifically women, because that is for women, but how many people in general don't defend themselves, and then all of a sudden they go up and, you know, let that chopper sing and you know, and all this type of crazy stuff. It's because they typically say this person was bullied, they didn't defend themselves, and then they went the F off and took everybody out. So I think it's important, and not even I think, I know it is important to teach children to be able to advocate for themselves. You can't just keep telling them turn the other cheek so you can keep getting slapped in the face. Like, it's at some point, sometimes you have to out crazy somebody, you know, and there's a lot of people out here who just want victims. And a perfect example of this is when I was going to the gym, there was this man who I was trying to be nice. Okay. And I've since learned, excuse me, Lord, anytime I have to try to be nice, I just now know that I don't need to be nice anymore because I'm like forcing myself to. But there was this man at the gym, and he was just following me around. So I was trying to be nice, you know, move around, move around, move around. And before I learned that, you know, I just need to, before I just came more into myself because I was younger, I would have to call my mom first, and then she would set me loose. Then I would be like, okay, you know, I got permission now. I'm finna show you what's up. And I'm nonviolent, so don't misunderstand my words. But this one particular day I was talking to her, and he was just doing too much. Like, I think he had gotten emboldened because I had told the people that worked there, I had like given, I was trying to avoid him. And he, at this particular day, I think he decided that he was gonna try to cross the line, but he didn't know I was crazier than he was. I still am crazier. You know, I might look friendly and stuff, but I bite. Not friendly. Anyway, so I'm at the I'm on the elliptical, minding my business, and this fool, black man fool, and I just say ethnicity so you can put a picture to the story. So I'm at the, and he's overweight, scruffy looking dude. Looks like he probably doesn't shower and stinks. So he comes right on the machine right next to me, and at this point, my mama already done told me like, Yana, like, did you forget who you are? I'll crazy him. So I'm ready now. So I'm on the machine and I start describing what he's wearing. I'm like, yeah, he's right next to me. He got on a red shirt. He always wore the same thing to the gym. That's why I know he was dirty. And he would be sweating too. So I'm like, yeah, he got on a red shirt and black pants. He got on a hat. And so I'm describing him as, so he's starting to like catch on, like, wait a minute, you're talking about me. I'm like, yeah, he's right here, right next to me. Da, 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 da. So I get off the machine, right? And I knew this scruffy fool was gonna follow me, right? Scruffy McGuffalus. And so there's like a pillar. So I'm waiting on the other side of the pillar because I already know what this fool is on. I'm like, all right, like I try to be nice to you. I tried to be nice to you, but now you have to meet the crazy. So he comes around the corner and I'm like, what? 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 Like I'm bucking at him. I'm like, yeah, what's up? And so all of a sudden he like jumped back. He's like, like he's afraid or something. I'm like, yeah, now I'm on you. Now I'm on you like white on rice, brother. So then he like runs. I start following him in the gym because he was following me from machine to machine until my mama said, no, remember who you are. So I start following him in the gym. I'm in his face taking pictures of him just so he knows, like, I see you. I see you. I sent a picture to somebody just, you know, just in case. And I'm following him around the gym. At this point, he's like running from me. And I thought it was funny because I was never afraid of him. I was just trying not to be crazy, because sometimes you don't want to act crazy. It's just real. You don't want to have to show people how crazy you really are. So I'm like, I'm gonna just hopefully he'll leave me alone. He didn't. But it was funny, like once he realized that I was not afraid of him, and in fact, I'm crazier than you are, he all of a sudden didn't want to bother me anymore. He was running from me in the gym. And you know what? I never saw him at the gym again. And when I did see him, he would run in the opposite direction. So children have to learn too, like there are cowards out here who purposely want to victimize you and who they get off on thinking that you're afraid of them. So even if you are afraid, never show fear. And you have to teach your child that. Instead of teaching them, oh, be obedient and do what I tell you to do, teach them how to out crazy people, because they will pick an easier target. It's unfortunate, but it won't be you, and they'll see like you're crazy. This is not going to be like some cat and mouse game. I'm the cat here if anything. I'm a grizzly bear lion pretending to be a mouse cuz I don't like drama. But sometimes you have to show people that you're crazier than them. And that is what you need to be teaching your children, boys and girls. Point blank period, because we're not going to sit up here. I'm not going to go into it cuz I have another interview to do in a few minutes. I have like two more left today. But we're not going to sit up here and act like young boys are not victims either. So you have to protect your boys, you have to protect your girls, and you have to teach them not to be obedient, teach them to be respectful. Okay, teach them respectful ways to communicate and respectful ways to advocate for themselves, but give them the space and opportunity to know that they are not a victim. They were not sent here to be somebody else's victim. And sometimes that means you have to out crazy somebody. I'd rather cause a scene and have everyone look than be silent and be getting victimized in the corner. And teaching your children to be obedient is, to me, a bad thing, because you can end up putting them in dangerous situations and they won't even tell you because you haven't even given them the space and opportunity to feel safe enough to celebrate with you. So why would they come to you when they need your help if they can't even come to you about positive things? Because typically people that raise obedient and you have to do what I tell you to do and the way I tell you to do it when I tell you to do it, those type of people are typically don't have open communication with their children. Period. That's just what I've seen. And I'm also not saying not to discipline, because there's a very, very, very different. It's like it's thin. It's not thin. It's very clear, honestly. But for some people, it's a thin line. But there's a difference between disciplining your children, teaching them discipline, and teaching them to be a doormat servant, obedient person. Okay. This is not the 1800. We's free now. Okay. And a lot of these things come from slavery. They come from servitude times. They've just been brought down the generations. Well, I was raised this way. Look how I turned out. If you've ever used the excuse of mistreating your child, and you use the excuse to say, well, I was raised like this, whatever, you need to look in the mirror, okay? Because just because you were raised like that and whatever, that is a clear sign that there was something wrong with that, or else you would have just said, you would have used a different excuse. But if your reason for raising your child to be obedient is, I was raised like this, and look at me, I want you to analyze the traumas that you had in your life and think about if you would have had an adult in your life who you could have come to and who would have protected you from those situations, where would you be? What traumas and horrible things could you have avoided if you had an adult you could talk to, if you had an adult you could run to, if someone could have helped you? Period. All right. Gotta go.